Hey friends, I'm going to show you a delicious and foolproof recipe for quiche you are going to love. We're going to start by cracking in our eggs, and we need 13 egg yolks. Yes, 13 egg yolks. Trust me, you guys, this is such a rich, delicious quiche. On top of our 13 egg yolks, we need 2 whole eggs. And then we're going to stir that together. And yes, you heard me right, there are 15 eggs in here. This will make 2 quiches. To this, we're going to add about a teaspoon of salt, stir that in, and then we're going to add 3.5 cups of heavy cream. Now, I told you it was rich, but trust me, this is foolproof. Follow this recipe and you will have the most delicious quiche, and your guests will love it. Now, we're going to set this aside and we're going to get our crust ready. I like to spray my pie pans with a little bit of Pam so nothing sticks. And I use these pre-made Pillsbury pie crusts you can find in the refrigerated section. These are really tasty and they're super, super easy. So we're going to carefully open that up and put it into our pie pan. Now these quiches are going to cook in the oven for about 50 or 60 minutes. So it is okay if the top crust is sort of thick. So what I like to do is fold mine over and pinch it together so it's about level or just a little bit over the pie pan. And that makes it perfect so it doesn't get too dark in the oven. And then you can, of course, use a fork and press it out, but I like to make it a little bit fancy. And in a second, I'll show you a close-up on how I do that. Now, if you want this recipe for later to try, I'm going to put it up on the screen, so if you'd like to take a screenshot, here it is. And now you can see how quickly that came together, less than probably 30 seconds or a minute, and I got that all pinched together really pretty. Now we're gonna poke it with a fork just so it doesn't bubble up underneath our eggs. Now we're gonna do the second one, and I'll show you up close how I make it look pretty. Again, we're gonna press it in, fold that top over just a little bit. And now this is how I always think about it in my brain. Hold your fingers like you're measuring an inch or a small pinch, and then push your other finger up to it. So hold your fingers like here's an inch, and then you take your forefinger and you push it into there. You're not really pinching anything, you're mostly just pressing your forefinger in between the other 2 fingers. Now, of course, you could just leave it plain, or you could use a fork and press it down if that's what you're used to, because I know a lot of people do like that look as well, but I really like this pretty look for my pie. For quiche, for pie, for pot pie, I just think it's a nice look. And you can see how quickly this goes. And then just like the other one, we're going to poke a few little holes in the bottom with the fork. And now we're ready to start filling it. I like to use spinach, and here's my little spinach hack. I add a little bit of water to the bag of frozen spinach, and then that helps to thaw it out. And then I pour it into my colander with some paper towels. And then you can just pull these paper towels out and give them a squeeze, and that's a great way to get all of the water out of your spinach. I like to use spinach, especially this frozen chopped spinach, because it does have a very mild taste. And also, you'll see with the addition of tomatoes, this has a beautiful red and green color, especially if you're going to make it for a holiday brunch. It is so beautiful. So I just sprinkled a little bit of spinach into the bottom of both of these pies, and then cut up about 10 grape tomatoes, and we're just going to line the bottom with that too. And you can already see why this is so great for a holiday brunch. Look at those colors. Now you can add any of your favorite veggies. I think broccoli would be good as well, but these are my favorites. Now we're going to add a little bit of cheese, just about half a cup or so on each quiche, and you can just shred that right into there. I like to either use cheddar, or Havarti is really good in here as well. And now we're going to add our egg mixture evenly split between these two quiches. And there's one thing that I don't show you here that I do want to mention. Once you pour this on, I like to take a fork or a spoon and push all that cheese down underneath the egg mixture. Instead of letting it float like that, you'll see when I put it in the oven, they're not floating anymore because it just cooks better and that cheese doesn't get browned. So we're going to cook these at 350 degrees for about 50 to 60 minutes or until they're nicely golden brown on top and set in the middle. Now I'll pull them out and I'll show you how beautiful they are, and I'm very sorry I did not get a picture of us cutting into them or taking a bite or showing you the middle, and I wish I would have because they're so delicious, but we had some company over and it just didn't happen for us. But I will show you how I serve them on the table during our brunch. They are so delicious. I hope you try this recipe.